Okay, looks like we're recording. Hi, everybody. Dr. Downing here. This is technical writing. We're going to look at the essential writing assignments in this class, meaning the basics. So without further ado, let me share my screen. And here we go. So I am in the shared folder here. And we've covered this already. If you go down to number 14, models. Here are student models. Now I've eliminated last names and removed identifying information. But these are not in any particular order, so let's just move through them. I mean, the photos are at the top, and I'm not sure when we're actually going to be able to have a day nice enough to go out and take photos. That's a social event, so let me just dive into the assignments now, right? So in my classes, some of you have had me before. I like to get the class up and out of the classroom, and I build in photography instruction. So we go out on campus on a nice day, and we talk to one another and work with one another, and you take 5 photos of 5 different classmates. So that's what that assignment is, and I'll go ahead and click into it. And here are the 5 photos taken and cropped. The idea is that, in the world of writing and publishing, you'll have to take somebody's photo likely at some point, right? It's often the English majors, the communication majors, professional writing majors who are doing this kind of work and actually taking the photos in addition to writing the copy and often doing the layout work as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice the background. You'll notice the students are all smiling. I will coach you to coach the talent so that people aren't like frozen with, wide eye, like deer in the headlights kind of thing. And then this last one here was not cropped. Not sure why, but these are fine. So that's one of the assignments. Let's go back then and go here. Okay. So again, these are not in order, although tech product is going to come pretty early. I just put, it's hard for me to create these models. I have to go through them all. And again, like I said, remove identifying information and all of that. So let's just dive in here. So this is an example of the tech product. And what I'm going to ask you to do is come up with a topic, some kind of technology product that you're interested in. I've had everything from lawnmowers to refrigerators to gaming consoles to phones, that sort of thing. And the idea is, and this is a common thing in industry publications, there's a new product that comes out, and then there is a product page. You may have not seen that yet, but there are niche publications all over the place, governing the development of cell phones and Bluetooth and scanning technology. Like when you go on the turnpike and that's RFID scanning. It's probably optical these days. I mean, it's all of those things have new products in them, and people in those industries want to know about them. So Ava here did a remarkable 2-tablet product description. You'll notice that the degree of consistency. So one of the big things I'm going to be talking about in this class is internal consistency and consistency across the documents. So let me take you, for example, to IBM, International Business Machines. They've been around forever. And you can really almost pick any business. And what you'll see right away, right, if you train your eye a little bit, look at the font. The font is very particular. You'll notice some of the spacing, like between the letters here. It's very comfortable. It is a sans serif font, meaning there's no little feet on the N or the ends here kind of thing. We can talk about serif versus sans. A serif font is Times New Roman. Sans serif is without. And you see that the font is here. And you see the color blue as well. It's IBM blue. It's probably a specific Pantone number that they have, and it's probably a very specific font, and it goes on everything. So the idea, one of the big ideas, one of the big themes of the class is internal consistency and then consistency across your documents. So let's jump back here for a minute. And we see on this document, it is very consistent internally. We've got boldface here, and then each of the section headers are boldface. We're using what's known as up style here. Features and functionality, both words are capitalized. If you elected to make functionality lowercase, for example, that would be called down style, and you would have to make it consistent. So the word app would be down style there, accessories and price. Now, while I'm here, I want to talk about photos and captions. Um, I'll talk more about this when we're in person together, but I want you to go through the process of locating photos that you can use, like stock photos for free. Now, if you're working typically for a publishing house, they have a subscription to like Getty Images and you can pull on that library. You can't just go online and grab whatever you want. That you could have, there could be consequences for that. And especially if you're doing work for a client, if you're doing a product description for, let's say, IBM, right? And this is going to be a flyer and it's going to be disseminated, I'm sorry, as a PDF. You certainly want to make sure that copyright on the entire document is what it needs to be. So you'll see here that it's not quite done, and we will restitch this a little bit. The captions go under the images, but the problem with Google Docs is that the captions are our images. It's weird. I'll show you in class. So if you're in Microsoft Word, you can just click on this image here, right click on it, and then write a caption, and it fits it in right underneath it beautifully. It's a mess in Google Docs. So we have come up with the solution of doing image source at the bottom of the page, and it's going to be Pexels or Wikimedia Commons or something like that. We will talk about that more precisely in class. I'm also going to want clickable links or hot links or active links, whatever we want to call them. One is probably not enough. There should be two or three. So that can improve in this document as well. But otherwise, it's a good example. This is by Emily X, and same thing. So you see the caption here and how it doesn't work, and the bibliography down there. I will make changes to this. I think, right, this is draft mode and it's on the Google folder. So by the time I'm giving these final grades, they've been cleaned up and created as PDFs and put into D2L. I look at them there as well. So this part here where the spacing is all off, that can be managed before you submit as a PDF. So, right. So even in the models, there's always a little bit more you can do. So here is a resume, and I would encourage you to use ChatGPT and give it a prompt to say, create a resume template. If you don't have a resume, again, we'll talk about this in class. If you do have a resume, dust it off and make it available so that we can have a conversation and that you can update it. Okay, here's tariffs. This is money. This is in the money category. And again, you see the consistency. This one looks really good. We need an image credit somewhere in here, but this is really what I'm looking for from top to bottom. You're making most of the real estate here. You've got an image there. We're going to give credit. We've got sources down at the bottom of the page. You've got internal consistency throughout the document. You've got a visual hierarchy with the boldface throughout. You've got good use of bullet points there, right? Through and through. This is an excellent document. This is something we're going to do earlier in the semester, which is the recipe. And the idea here is this is an initial assignment the effect that I want it to have on students who are coming into an introductory, excuse me, technical writing class is, oh, I never thought of a recipe as a technical document, but indeed it is. Why is that? I mean, it needs to be put together in a certain way. They typically have images with captions. There is a visual hierarchy. There's usually boldface like title at the beginning. There's a byline there. And then there's headings here. Now, I don't know whether we lost something here at some point because of the caption, but it should say ingredients here. And then down here above the number one, it should say steps, right? There needs to be some section headers that may have been there. Again, when we're working in the Google Doc, things can be, it's the sandbox, so it's still in draft stage. And then there's this weird spacing thing that's going on. I thought I opened this and fixed it. Maybe it didn't take. I don't know. We'll restitch it, and then it'll serve as a solid model. But it's helpful for you to see sort of the process that the students went through in putting this all together. Two final things that I'll point out is in technical writing, there's a difference between bullet points and enumeration. Okay, so learn that. Oops, it's simple. Pop this back up. Not sure what I did there. you go. Okay, so you use enumeration when there are a series of prescribed steps. First do this, second do this, third do this. Has to go in that order. It's like making bread. You have to do it in the right order, or it fails. Um, Bullet points then, no order. It's just a list of ingredients here. Now, in a recipe, typically you want to put them in an order that matches the steps, but it's not necessary. I've seen them jump around before. Okay. Okay, this is The Legal by Samantha X. And again, you're seeing the repetition now that I want to sink into your brains and develop with your eyes so that you see warrants at the top is bold, and then each of the section headers are in bold as well. And they're a certain length, the page is filled, there's a bibliography at the bottom, there's an image there, we need an image credit. And again, the only reason that's not there is because we were figuring that out as we were moving forward because the captions under the photos were not working. We'll talk about Creative Commons licenses as well. Here's Stella X. This must be medical, Raynaud's syndrome. The links could be active at the bottom. I would activate that. Okay, it looks like it works. Okay. They're not blue, but they work. So we'll keep it that way. And then on to Stella's technical writing portfolio. So this is at the end of the semester. I'm going to ask you to put together all of your work into a single portfolio, cover page like this, table of contents, and then into the assignments. Now, one of the things you'll notice, hopefully, is that this is all Times New Roman. So once you land on a particular font and font size, which is font sizes are like 11 and 12, and you can use Times New Roman or Calibri or Arial, Georgia, Tahoma. Somebody used Book Antigua. I guess so. Don't use exotic fonts. You make everybody's life miserable. I've done enough production, both print and online, where people have tried to incorporate fancy formats, and it usually doesn't work because on the other side, right, we're doing this. If I'm doing production from IBM, it doesn't matter what kind of fancy, unique font you give me. It's going to look like this at the end of the day. Okay. Okay, so here's her homemade pesto, her recipe. Here's her product description. So you can look at this as an example of everything as well. There is no resume in here, and I discourage that. Don't put your resume in here. That's for applying for jobs. It's not part of your portfolio. That's a separate document, so keep it separate. This is Tori's video link, and this is the how-to video. I'm not going to watch it now, but that's what it is. And I go back here. So these are all of the assignments, more or less, the big ones. And note that once we get moving on it starts with the recipe. I'm sorry, the resume, the recipe, the tech product. Then I think it goes to medical, right? I need to check the order, and these are out of order. So science, and then law. They're going to be regular. They're going to be due regularly. So don't think like when I give you an assignment, say, oh, end of the month, I'll do it or whatever. No, get started on it right away. I'll give you time in class to get started so that you have a draft, but then you're going to have to finish it up outside of class. Shouldn't take forever. These are single page assignments. You want to bang out a bunch of these if it loads. All right. Okay, that's all I have. I'm going to stop my sharing, and that's it. We're done. I'll see you in class.